Shelter is ranked second in the hierarchy of human needs, being the most important after food in order of importance for survival. Nigeria, the most populous country in Africa and the 8th most populous country in the world, is facing serious housing challenge. This is evident in the available statistics, indicating that 87% of the total population of households in the country live in rented apartments, while specifically in Lagos, 60% of residents are tenants, leaving housing demand to an estimated figure of approximately 2.17 million annually. Most of the existing accommodation units are provided by private investors, and tenants have to pay rent as high as 50 to 70% of their monthly incomes. Glad to have you join me on yet another informative episode of Housing Development. As usual, I am Fleur Arnie, your housing diva. Let's see the news making rounds in the sector. I'll be back shortly.
President of the Nigerian Institute of Building, Kunle Awobodo, is urging stakeholders to address challenges limiting housing development and affordability in the country. Speaking at the 9th College Lecture of Bells University of Technology, OTA, organized by the College of Environmental Sciences, the NIOB president says lack of primary infrastructure, such as roads, water, electricity, and others, accounts for about 30% of housing costs. To curb this, he urged the government to provide basic infrastructure across the country. Addressing the competence of contractors, Awobodo says most Nigerian contractors are quack, who place more emphasis on money and initial mobilization fee instead of getting the right workforce and professionals that will execute the projects. Experts have blamed incompetent artisans and weak supervision of workmen as one of the major reasons for building collapse. Abuja International Housing Show, AIHS, in collaboration with top players in the real estate sector, is ready for Nigeria's first architectural design competition to promote affordable housing design, production, and finance using value engineering. The architectural design competition is part of the company's contribution towards actualization of affordable housing for all in the country. The competition is open to youth between the ages of 18 to 30 who are either architects, engineers, builders, or quantity surveyors. In a statement signed by Barrister Festus Adebayo, convener of Abuja International Housing Show, winners of the competition will be announced at the Nigeria Housing Awards during the 15th Abuja International Housing Show 2021. The winner, according to Adebayo, will go home with 500,000 naira, while the second place will have 300,000 and third place 200,000 from Royal Ceramics, while other prizes and opportunities will be given by other sponsors like Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Family Home Funds Limited, Modern Shelter Limited, Copen Group Limited, and Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria. Interested participants should visit www.ihsabuja.com or send an email to abujahousingshow@gmail.com for more details. The Federal Housing Authority says it is moving ahead with the restoration of Festac Town, despite protests over demolition of illegal structures within the buffer zone along 2nd Avenue and the Expressway. Zonal Managing Director FHA Southwest Zone Akim Olagbemiro, addressing stakeholders of the community and members of the press, says the meeting was held amid protests outside FHA's premises by displaced residents. Olagbemiro, speaking on behalf of the Managing Director of FHA, Benga Shafa, says the clearing was in accordance with the original master plan designed for the town, and management of the FHA has the moral, professional, and political will to restore Festac Town as promised. Meanwhile, President of Festac Residents Town Association, Shola Fakorede, says he sympathized with original allottees of the federal lands that were occupied by now displaced illegal developers. Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, is calling on estate surveyors and valuers to explore digital technology innovation to promote professionalism and close up infrastructure deficits towards achieving development in the country. Represented by the Minister of State for Works and Housing, Abubakar Aliyu, at the 44th induction ceremony for newly registered estate surveyors and valuers by Estate Surveyors and Valuers Registration Board of Nigeria in Abuja, Fashola urges inductees to use their potential through technology revolution to unlock the infrastructure deficit confronting the nation. Fashola says the ministry is in the process of implementing the International Public Sector Accounting Standard across all federal secretariats in the country and employed professionals to explore other technology innovations in enhancing professionalism and good service delivery of day-to-day tasks. House asking prices have hit record levels across every region of Great Britain, according to latest figures, although some experts have questioned whether the pandemic boom is finally starting to wane. The average price of properties coming to market rose by 0.8% month-on-month in June to a third consecutive record of £336,073, according to data from Rightmove, a property listing website. It was the largest June increase in Rightmove's index since 2015. However, the huge increase in sales compared with the pre-pandemic period appeared to wane somewhat. The number of sales agreed in May was 17% ahead of the same point in 2019, after sales in April were up by 45% compared with 2 years earlier.
For more housing, finance, construction news, visit www.africanhousingnews.com. The Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency has advised states, local government and individuals to take early precautionary measures to avoid flooding this rainy season. Against this backdrop, the national president of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners in this report advocates for proper planning to prepare for the rains ahead.
Nigeria, with a population of over 200 million people, is annually confronted with flooding during the rainy seasons, mainly due to a lack of proper planning and the provision of necessary infrastructure. This has resulted in widespread devastation, loss of life, properties, and damages to critical public infrastructure. According to the World Health Organization, between 1998 to 2017, floods affected more than 2 billion people globally, leaving individuals and households with massive financial losses. National President, Nigeria Institute of Town Planners, says Nigerians must prepare for the rains ahead to avoid loss of lives and properties to flood. Drainages, gutters, and structures blocking waterways must be cleared out.
If you look at geographical maps, you look at Google, you'll see that there's a natural provision for water to move. When we say water finds its level, it's because there's a structured path for it. Water will pass through valleys, water will go through the rivers and streams. Those are really the drainage facilities. The drains we have in front of our houses are only helping to connect to those ones. So what should first happen is that state authorities, municipal authorities, those in charge of settlement, must first ensure that those primary drainage facilities, the streams, the rivers, are not clogged. They are not silted, because there are times they are silted. So when water gets into them, they swell immediately, and they are overflowing that first creates flooding. So they must ensure that those ones are not clogged. Secondly, the secondary drainage facilities, those are the canals that we now build to drain larger areas, must also be desilted. In most cases, they are silted in Nigeria because we are even unable to control how we dispose of our wastes. So a lot of wastes end up getting into the canal. So rather than have canals that flow, we have canals that are clogged. And then, of course, we'll come to the tertiary drains, those ones that are by our houses, and ensure that they are clear.
The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development's reports on climate change states that globally, floods cost more than $40 billion in damages annually, with an increase in death rates in recent years to more than 100 people a year. Meanwhile, National President Nigeria Institute of Town Planners, speaking with Housing Development, says Nigeria will continue to lose millions of naira to flood if proactive measures are not taken.
They really need to go back and look at those laws. They need to go back and know that the laws are about the people they have chosen to govern. Because even when we are talking about planning, we are talking about planning because of two dominant factors. One, man. Two, environment.
As the rains intensify, town planners insist that renewed focus must be steered on the crucial need for flood risk mitigation plan and urgent attention given to flood risk management more than ever before, while efforts must be made to adopt safety measures that can avert loss of lives and properties.
There are areas that are being planned now that have not been built yet. Many developers do not understand that they must establish a relationship between the level of the road system and the level of their building. Because anytime you do not establish that, there is the possibility or likelihood of the road being higher than your plot. If that happens, anytime the rain falls, rather than your house draining into the gutter by the road, the gutter on the road will rather drain into your house. So it's important that developers should involve the relevant professionals as they construct. So they establish a datum below which they must not develop, so that at the time they are concluding their physical development, there is a possibility, there is that chance, the compelling reason for their houses to drain into the system, and that helps the overall drainage facility.
Town planner Tpl.Olutoyin Ayinde there, the national president, Nigerian Institute of Town Planners. All right, moving on. When deciding where to live or get an apartment, there are crucial factors you should put into consideration. While some consider just the cost of the property, others might just consider the level of security and voices on the streets. Let's see what some Nigerians consider when searching to buy or rent an apartment.
One, the cost of the house, that is the one. Secondly, the proximity to your workplace. How far is it? To me, I prefer my workplace to be close to where I live. That's all.
Okay, whichever way, either for renting or for buying, first and foremost, I will consider costs. The cost of buying or renting the house in consideration with what I have, because I need to cut my coat according to my clothes. The second thing I need to consider is security. Security of life is very important. The third thing I need to consider is proximity. How close is it from where I live to my working place and other areas I need to go for my life-changing activities? I think these three things are very necessary.
The question when renting a house, when renting a house, you have to look at the location, and that you consider the power, that is the light, and the water. And it's very, very important too. This time around over here in Abuja, we have to be very, very careful renting a house. So consideration of these three things, the location one, the water, and then the lights, is very, very important.
Interesting. Now consider the cost, the environment, the location.
First is the road, so it's the infrastructure. Hope it meets standard. Hope it's not something that needs high maintenance. So, and third is something that doesn't break the bank.
I consider accessible road. I consider water and constant electricity, because that's what makes life comfortable and important in life. If you don't have good water and if you don't have good accessible road, you'll not be able to apply. You'll not be able to drive your car, or even people will not even be happy to even come and visit you as well.
First is the location. Does it have a government approval to avoid litigation, to avoid problem with land speculators and government? Tomorrow, not after developing your property, they will not say that no, where you're occupying is unofficial, it's not approved, and you lose your property. 2, I also consider the proximity to where I'm working or doing my business. I wouldn't want a situation where I have to travel for about 25 kilometers before I get to my house. You know, it's energy sapping and other inconveniences involved. So there are things I must. And also, how close for my children, because they are still small, where they go to school and access them easily. Fine, I must consider that.
Voices on the street there as we get some Nigerians react to the factors they will consider when searching for a house to buy or rent. It is definitely different strokes for different folks, but in all our advice, you do what best suits you and you live in a place where you'll be very much comfortable.
What is the name of my grandson?
Suleiman.
That's a good name. May the Almighty preserve him.
Amen.
Now that your family is growing, this is the time for you to start thinking of a house of your own.
Abba, the thought of this has always been on my mind. To build a house now, you need a lot of money, and that is what is holding me back.
Sonny, what you need is a mortgage. NHF mortgage loan. With NHF mortgage loan, you own a house upfront and pay gradually over a long period of time.
Abba, I will go to the FMBN office right away.
Come join us at FMBN and let's shelter Nigeria together.
Welcome back. Glad to know you're still with us. Convenient, satisfactory and affordable housing is crucial for effective performance of men. But when people affected by poverty are unable to lead a decent life, there is no doubt there will be a decay of the city. And where there are inadequate and unfit housing, the condition of the environment often resort to slums and ghettos. There will be the disaster of homelessness. In the next report coming in, we'll try to analyze how Nigerians with stable income can conveniently access affordable housing.
Unemployment has been pinned down as a major contributing factor to the lack of access to affordable housing, even as extensive research establishes that there is a strong connection between poverty and homelessness, a coin with two sides, especially for families who use more than 50% of their household income to pay for rent. In Nigeria today, the challenge of poverty has assumed formidable dimensions with an increase in job loss triggered by the outbreak of COVID-19, further heightening advocacy calls for the provision of employment opportunities for the people, particularly the poor.
If everyone is engaged, you have the block people laying the blocks, you have those bringing chips, you have everything. You have even the architect very busy, the engineers, everyone is busy, so there's employment.
Patterns have changed over time, becoming more dramatic as more children between the age of 10 and 20 are caught in the web of homelessness, as against above 40 years in time past. Furthermore, the twin factors of eroding employment opportunities and declining access to finance have continued to account for increased poverty in Nigeria, as more people are unable to pay for housing, food, childcare, healthcare, and education. Experts advocate for development of strategies that could better address the root challenge of housing deficits and create more job opportunities, without which the proclaimed vision and agenda of the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration to address the issue of affordable housing in the country will become a messy.
Housing is germane to every living being. Okay, there is no country in the world that has 100% home ownership, but every government try as much as possible to accommodate their citizens. So different kind of policies were put in place.
A rise in Nigeria's employment data is requested to practically reduce the nation's poverty level, resulting from factors like unemployment, low wages, or discrimination, which could implicate some populations more than others. The call is for government to ensure access to safe and affordable housing through support for investors in the real estate sector, as this is central to the achievement and improvement of citizens' living standards and national development.
I'm Leilani Farha, the UN Special Rapporteur, and I hope you'll keep watching the Housing Development Program.
One of the most prominent features of your house is your roof. Your roof will tell how old your building is. At Plus World, we pride ourselves in having the expertise and products to bring your roof back to life. While other roofing companies suggest removing the roof, we restore the roof with warranty assurance. Let Plus World Roofing recoat your old and fading roofs and make your roofs brand new. Our products are eco-friendly and completely harmless to human and the environment. We offer services that will sustain your roof's integrity and by extension, your property value. This includes roof repairs and maintenance for residential, commercial, and industrial properties. Our roof restoration solution saves you up to 70% the cost of replacing your roof. Contact Plus World Roofing today.
It has been established that poverty and homelessness are strongly correlated, where loss of income acts as a major factor associated with homelessness. Addressing and preventing homelessness through the eradication of poverty is very crucial.
My name is Munia Tagma. I encourage you to watch Housing Development.
Fully persuaded about the need for a more sustainable, modern, creatively crafted and functional design, Urban Shelter Limited has developed yet another masterpiece that so easily breaks the borders of creativity and dispels mediocrity. Well seated on over 210,000 square meters of land and mapped for housing development, the Promenade Estate is located in an excellent part of the Federal Capital Territory, Lokogoma, a central point in Abuja, proximal to most places of relative significance and attraction and edged by multiple access roads where homeowners can swiftly meet up with schedules and appointments. Pushing the frontiers of communal living, the Promenade Estate has within its borders 2-bedroom and 4-bedroom semi-detached for the purpose of facilitating communal living, while homeowners have well-defined mutually exclusive spaces. The Promenade Estate appeals to the minds of intellectuals, professionals, and homeowners who have a thirst for a house that sits comfortably on global standard. Urban Shelter setting the pace.
Abuja International Housing Show, in collaboration with top players in the real estate sector, is ready for Nigerians' first architectural design competition to promote affordable housing design, production and finance using value engineering. The architectural design competition is part of the company's contribution towards actualization of affordable housing for all in the country. The competition is open to youth between the ages of 18 to 30 years who are either architects, engineers, builders, or quantity surveyors. There is a grand prize of 500,000 naira for the winner, while the first runner-up gets 300,000 naira and the third place gets 200,000 naira. This competition is done in collaboration with Royal Ceramics and other leading brands in the sector. Why not visit AIHSAbuja.com for more details. it on today's episode of Housing Development. Thanks for watching. I remain Flora Ani, your Housing Diva. See you soon.